folks, thought I'd come on here and do another video. Now you may be wondering, why are you sitting so far away from the camera and holding the microphone up to your mouth? Well, I thought I'd come on here and do a complete overlook of all my Blu-rays. Now, the last time I did one of these, I had acquired 84 Blu-rays. I had about 84 Blu-rays by that time. Now, according to Blu-Ray.com, let me log on here to that website here real quick, and it'll tell me, how many I have. According right now to Blu-Ray.com, I had 264 titles. So that's a pretty big jump. So, real quickly, I'm going to try to go through these as quick as I can. We're going to switch to the phone because it'll just make things a whole lot easier for the whole process. So, let's roll to it.
Now, as you can see, there's quite the pile there. Yeah, it'd just be a little bitty corner. So, don't waste any more time. Let's get right into it. Okay, first off, we have the Criterion edition of 12 Angry Men. These are all in alphabetical order, by the way. Yeah, there's a nice addition to that. We have the Digibook 300, the complete experience. And sorry I'm not showing you the disc art because I kind of want to move these along because there's so many. The original 310 to Yuma, available from Criterion. The remake of 310 to Yuma with Russell Crowe and Christian Bale. Both are excellently good movies. The A-Team. Nice little action flick. Kind of fun. AI, Artificial Intelligence. Air Force One. The first of the Alvin and the Chipmunks movies. This is the only one I have at the moment. Pretty generic for the back. American Psycho, the uncut version. The only version that's available on Blu-ray. Animal House in this best of the decade slipcover. Of course, it's the same on the back. Just has the regular Argo, which I really liked, and I do think it was deserving of the Best Picture. The Artist, also an excellent Best Picture winner. I think this won for 2011. Yeah. Avatar, just the bare bones edition disc. Why is that? Because, well, visually this movie is stunning, but story-wise it stinks. The Avengers. Yeah, there's that. Walt Disney's Bambi. And the reason I have this is because this was the first movie I ever saw in a movie theater. The HBO miniseries Band of Brothers. Of course, I keep it in this slipcover. There's the back to the slipcover. And of course the slipcover just pulls off. It's kind of difficult to do this one-handed without tearing it apart. And of course, there's that on the back. Now I've got to put it back on. Battleship. Was not too impressed with this movie, but oh well. Beauty and the Beast, the Diamond Edition Blu-ray. Be Kind, Rewind, featuring Mos Def and Jack Black. Now some of these I picked up, from Blockbusters and Walmarts and things like that. Everywhere Blu-ray's sold, I'm usually there. The Bible miniseries. The cheapest place to get this I know of would be either Best Buy or Walmart. Do not go through the Christian bookstores because they charge double the price for it, and it's a fairly well done miniseries. There are some problems I have with it. Obviously, they don't tell everything. Now, because of the popularity of this miniseries, they are making a full-length, feature-length movie just on the Jesus story. The Big Lebowski limited edition steelbook. These pop up here and there at various stores. Yeah, not much to it. Just a nice steelbook. The Book of Eli, Denzel Washington and Gary Oldman flick. Blade Runner, the complete collector's edition. Actually, in my personal opinion, of all the editions of Blade Runner, this is the one to get. Now, obviously, they did put out a briefcase edition of this, but this is the version to get because you get 5 discs instead of 4 discs like the new version has put out in the Digibook. But if you want more content, this is the version to go with. Blazing Saddles, Mel Brooks film from 1974. Hilarious movie. The Blind Side with Sandra Bullock. And I do encourage anyone out there to check out my review of her new film, Gravity. It is excellent. From the Criterion Collection, Blowout, starring John Travolta and Nancy Allen, directed by Brian De Palma, I think he was fresh off the movie Carrie for this movie. I'm not quite sure. The Blues Brothers, again in the best of the decade slipcover. Fun movie, classic movie. Blues Brothers 2000, you must avoid like the plague because it's really bad. The Boy in the Striped Pajamas. Braveheart. This, of course, is the Sapphire series that Paramount puts out. The Breakfast Club, classic 80s high school comedy. Bridge to Terabithia. Bully, the PG-13 cut. Captain America, the First Avenger. Of course, this is just the generic Blu-ray. It does not have the DVD or digital copy in it. But that's alright. The movie's in high definition anyway. Cars. Cars 2. Casablanca. This, of course, I think is one of the earlier Blu-ray editions, but it's still a nice, a nice look at the movie. Castaway. Yeah, it's a generic Fox Blu-ray. Even though they've messed up the technical specs, it says here that it's presented in, here, focus, widescreen, 235:1. It's a little fuzzy, but 235:1 is what it says it's presented in, but it's actually presented in 185:1. Chitty Chitty Bang Bang Blu-ray DVD combo pack. Fun little musical from the early, I believe it was late 60s, early 70s, 1968. Disney's A Christmas Carol with Jim Carrey. Really well done Robert Zemeckis animated film. Chronicle. A very nice sci-fi superhero movie. Very well done. The Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. The nice 2-disc Blu-ray edition. The Chronicles of Narnia, Prince Caspian. Of course, just a single-disc edition. And, of course, The Voyage of the Dawn Treader. And of course, this is a nice, big, deluxe set I got several years ago. Not several years ago, 2010. The Best Buy exclusive digibook to Citizen Kane, 70th Anniversary Edition. Of course, there's the Rosebud emblem. Now we start on the second pile. Still got 5 more to go. Clash of the Titans, the original. Clash of the Titans remake. And I do not have Wrath of the Titans. Close Encounters of the Third Kind, the 30th Anniversary Ultimate Edition. Yeah, there's just, like I said, I'm just doing a rundown of all of these, just like what the Flick Pick would do, except you're not seeing me on camera all the time. Cloverfield. I purchased this from one of those movies you buy with just the sleeves. See, I even put my DVD copy in there and got rid of the original DVD case. Cold Mountain, Jude Law, Nicole Kidman, and Renee Zellweger. Movie about the Civil War. Collateral, Tom Cruise and Jamie Foxx. I picked that one up fairly cheap at Walmart. The Color Purple digibook. Some 80s Spielberg, back when he was his first attempt at being a serious filmmaker without special effects. Contagion, featuring an all-star cast, directed by Steven Soderbergh. Basically about washing your hands. Courageous, wonderful movie about being fathers and being men. Cowboys and Aliens. I know a lot of people didn't like this movie, but I really did. I thought it was really good. The Criterion edition of The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. That one fairly cheap at Walmart, $5. Dances with Wolves, the 20th anniversary edition. And of course, that's a 2-disc edition. And it is the 4-hour cut, so mind you on that. Jim Henson's The Dark Crystal, 1982 classic. Batman Begins, the steelbook. I know there's a much better looking steelbook, but I think the back to that looks pretty cool. Then there's a much better looking steelbook with the front cover. The Dark Knight, of course I have to have those together because it's part of the trilogy. And The Dark Knight Rises with the nice lenticular cover there, slip cover. The Departed, wonderful Scorsese flick, good crime drama. The Dirty Dancing collection, 2-film collection, has both Dirty Dancing and Dirty Dancing Havana Nights in one package. District 9, some people like it, some people don't, but you know, I tend to like it. Django Unchained, wonderful over-the-top throwback to spaghetti westerns from Quentin Tarantino. Drive, Ryan Gosling. Dumb and Dumber, the unrated cut. Funny movie from the Farrelly Brothers. The E.T. Digibook from Best Buy. Double pack of Roland Emmerich movies, 2012 and Godzilla. Of course, there's just not much to them. It's just they've condensed 2 Blu-rays down to 1. Ernest Goes to Camp from Mill Creek. The Expendables, fun movie. Expendables 2, and I can't wait for Expendables 3 with Mel Gibson as the villain. Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close, I have yet to watch. I've heard not too many positive things about. Fantasia and Fantasia 2000. Nice little 2-pack. Ferris Bueller's Day Off, the Bueller edition. Classic 80s movie. John Hughes, can't go wrong there. Fiddler on the Roof, the 40th anniversary edition. Field of Dreams, one of my favorite Kevin Costner flicks. Finding Nemo. Another 2-pack, Friday Night Lights and The Express. Still same thing going on, just compressed 2 Blu-rays down to 1. Matter of fact, yeah, see, there's both things. Footloose in the Paramount 100th anniversary Best Buy exclusive slipcover. Gives a little bit of trivia about the movie and the studio. And I know, Footloose the remake. Next up, Full Metal Jacket, Stanley Kubrick movie. G.I. Joe, The Rise of Cobra. Was not a particular fan of this movie, but it's good cheese, I guess. Along with G.I. Joe Retaliation, which is probably even worse, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. Yeah. Gangs of New York, another Scorsese flick featuring DiCaprio. Ghost, with Patrick Swayze and Demi Moore. Really good movie. Even though, yes, I'm a guy, and I do enjoy this movie, I just like the fact that it's this guy is showing how far he would go just to show his love to this girl. Glory Road, based on a true story. Of course, I got this from Disney Movie Rewards. I don't think you can get this anymore. This may be out of print. I'm not quite sure. The Godfather, the Coppola restoration, which has all three movies. There, of course, is the back. And same thing, just slips out. There actually is a back to this, but that's a booklet, but it doesn't fit properly on the shelf. Gone in 60 Seconds, late 90s Nicolas Cage movie, produced by Jerry Bruckheimer. Fun movie. Gone with the Wind, the 70th anniversary edition. And I know there's a much better edition of this, but that version is long out of print, unfortunately. Robin Williams in Good Morning Vietnam. This is the 25th anniversary edition. This is one disc. It's no two disc. The Good and the Bad and the Ugly. Classic Clint Eastwood flick. You may recall I did a video on that showing I had a chipped Eco case. Next up, the Steelbook to Goodfellas. Great Scorsese flick. Scorsese has yet to disappoint me, really. The Goonies. Classic 80s movie there. Yeah, The Great Gatsby remake. Again, have yet to watch this. What I've seen of it was pretty cool looking, but did not do too well at the box office. The Green Hornet. Yes, I'd rather have this than that piece of crap Green Lantern. There we go. The Green Zone. Matt Damon movie. Gremlins, the 25th anniversary edition. Of course, if you have this just a special edition DVD, you're really not missing out on this because it's the exact same thing. Matter of fact, I just recently got this, and I'm doing my own DVD Blu-ray cases because look at that. The same exact artwork. The only thing missing is the Steven Spielberg name in special edition. It's sad. Happy Feet. Do not have Happy Feet 2, which unfortunately bankrupted the animation studio that made that movie. From the Criterion Collection, Harold and Maude. Movie from the early 70s, starring Ruth Gordon and Bud Cort. Became kind of a classic throughout the years. Did not do too very well, but it became a classic anyway. 2-pack of Ben-Hur and the Ten Commandments. They just paired both movies into one. Of course, one's by Paramount and one's by Warner Brothers. And Warner Brothers is under contract to Paramount to release several of their titles. This was no exception. The Hatfields and McCoys miniseries. A really well done miniseries for the History Channel. The Hobbit. This, of course, is the theatrical version. An Unexpected Journey. I'm really looking forward to seeing The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug. Comes out later on this year. How the West Was Won digibook. This, of course, includes the original widescreen presentation along with the Smile Box edition. Yeah, this is the only version you're ever going to find that one on, is this digibook edition. Another Scorsese, Hugo. A nice family flick from Martin Scorsese, which is extremely rare. You never see a family flick out of Scorsese. The Hunchback of Notre Dame, 2-movie collection. This has the original Hunchback of Notre Dame and the sequel, Hunchback of Notre Dame 2. The Hunger Games, which was the Best Buy big box set or gift box. It has 2 Blu-Rays, 2 DVDs. Go through this real quickly. And there we go. The Hunt for Red October, in the 100th Paramount Movie Memories Best Buy exclusive slipcover. I Am Legend, Will Smith flick. I have some problems with this movie, but it's an entertaining movie. And I'll say that the alternate ending doesn't help the movie much. I Am Number 4, again from those movies you buy, and I printed off the cover. See, it's an actual press disc. Inception in the nice lenticular slipcover. There's the back. Independence Day. The Incredible Hulk, of course, with Edward Norton. The Incredibles, the nice 2-disc edition Blu-ray. All 3 of the Iron Man movies. Of course, I printed these 2 covers off because I bought the 2 Blu-rays from a Movies You Buy and put my DVD copies in them as, you know, as just a DVD copy. And of course, yeah, there's that. And put those 2 away so you can look at Iron Man 3, which should have been Iron Man 2 in my honest opinion. Even though I was disappointed, because I'm a fan of Industrial Light and Magic, that Industrial Light and Magic did not return for Iron Man 3. I was really disappointed in that, because they was replaced by Digital Domain, who I think could do a lot better. Here's the Jaws Blu-ray in the nice 100th anniversary Universal slipcover. Of course, a lot of these slip covers, the back is actually what's printed on the back of the slip cover. And Jarhead. Jake Gyllenhaal movie. Jamie Foxx. That's the end of that stack. Now we got 4 more to go. 3 down, 4 to go. Okay, had to move them closer. Next up is Jurassic Park, the Ultimate Trilogy on Blu-Ray. Nice set. They now have them in individual cases, but that's the way to go because it was only $30. Kenny Chesney, Summer in 3D. Of course, it's only on 2D Blu-ray. I'm sure if Kenny would re-release this, he would surely put it in 3D. Kick-Ass. Kill Bill 1. Here we'll do this all in one thing. Kill Bill Volume 2. As you can see, there's the backs. There's 1. There's 2. King Kong. Peter Jackson flick. A movie I think could have been trimmed by about 45 minutes. That's one criticism I really have with Peter Jackson is that I feel like he can't make a movie that's under 3 hours. Labyrinth, Jim Henson classic with David Bowie and Jennifer Connelly. Lady and the Tramp, the Diamond Edition. Here we go. The Last Starfighter, the 25th Anniversary Edition. Sci-fi kiddie flick from, not kiddie flick, but it's kind of a movie that was in the same vein as E.T. and all that. Lawrence of Arabia, classic epic film. Les Miserables, Lincoln, Steven Spielberg's recent masterpiece, all about Lincoln. The Lion King, the Diamond Edition. The Little Mermaid Diamond Edition. Of course, has $8 movie money. I've yet to cash that in for Frozen, coming out pretty soon. Logan's Run, classic sci-fi flick from the 1970s. Predates Star Wars. And it's pretty grim for its time. Lord of the Flies from the Criterion Collection. And yeah, there's and the Lord of the Rings trilogy. And they're just like the standard DVDs, pretty much. Just without the creative colored cases that you may remember them having. The Mad Max trilogy in this bizarre-looking tin. A lot of people have complained about this tin and the artwork. Yeah, there's the back to that. There's the back to that. Open that up. There's Mel and the dog. And here's the Blu-ray. And of course nothing in there. Of course the same on the outside, but the only thing missing is the credits. Man on Fire, Denzel Washington flick, directed by Tony Scott, the late Tony Scott. It's a shame what happened. The Mask with Jim Carrey. Miami Vice, which is an alright flick. It's not, even though this was directed by the creator of the show, it had nothing to do with the show. That's what was really upsetting about it. Now, the Tom Cruise in the Mission Impossible Extreme Blu-ray trilogy, they've since reissued this with Ghost Protocol. Of course, it just has the IMF on the back. Here's Mission Impossible 1. Mission Impossible 2. Mission Impossible 3. And, of course, Ghost Protocol. Next up, Monsters, Inc. Mrs. Doubtfire, which is not that great of a transfer. It's actually pretty poor. Really disappointed in how Fox treated this. Of course, Fox was pretty bad in their early stages of mastering Blu-rays. Now we're getting to my Muppet collection. Here's the Muppet Christmas Carol, the It's Not Easy Being Scrooge Special Edition, 20th anniversary. The original Muppet movie, which came out just recently. We're pleased to have that. Of course, Disney was nice enough to also release the soundtrack to that as well. And the upgraded, or the 2011 film The Muppets with Jason Segel and Amy Adams. The Never-Ending Story, classic 80s movie. A lot of people are wishing that they put out a better Blu-ray transfer of this, because I don't think it's a bad transfer, but I think the gamma is a little high on it. And of course, we can't exclude the TV shows. Here's The Newsroom, Season 1 from HBO. A really good series about how the news should be broadcasted and not opinionated news. Next up from the Criterion Collection, Night of the Hunter, classic film with Robert Mitchum, Shelley Winters. Kind of a frightening film of the time, but you can't blame it for the way it was filmed. A Night to Remember, of course, was an inspiration to James Cameron when he made Titanic. No Country for Old Men, Coen Brothers movie. The Notebook, yes, I know. What's with the Czech flicks? Even Nick Cassavetes didn't like that movie, but I've heard even guys like that movie. Now You See Me, which a lot of people kind of didn't like it at the theater, but somehow they're really catching on to it. Oliver and Company, the 25th anniversary edition, which I was really disappointed on how they did this, really. On the Waterfront, from the Criterion Collection. It was originally a Columbia Pictures release. The Outlaw Josie Wales in the nice digibook edition. Dying ain't much of a living, boy. And there's the back. One of my favorite Clint Eastwood westerns. Of course, we have Band of Brothers, but now we have the Pacific, which is the follow-up. I like Band of Brothers a lot better than I do the Pacific. I just think that Band of Brothers was a much better story to be told, but you know, they did it because the Army, they did it for the airborne that actually did that, and all these other guys came up to Spielberg and Hanks, said, well, why don't you tell our story, who were these group of Marines in the Pacific. Recent pickup, Pacific Rim, and this nice lenticular cover. Switches back from a monster to the robot. And the next two I'm going to do together because they're a TV show. Person of Interest Season 1 and Person of Interest Season 2. I really love this show. It's a really good show. It's now on CBS Tuesday nights at 10, so check it out. Stars Michael Emerson from Lost and Jim Caviezel from The Passion of the Christ. Pete's Dragon in the 35th anniversary edition. Peter Pan, the Diamond Edition. And now here's all four of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. Here's Curse of the Black Pearl, Dead Man's Chest, Part 2, At World's End, Part 3, and On Stranger Tides, Part 4. And now they're making Part 5, which they're running that series to the death. Next up, Pitch Perfect, which I think is a really bizarre movie. Not bizarre, I shouldn't say that, but it's a really fun movie. A really good soundtrack, believe it or not. Really, really good soundtrack. Next up, the Planet of the Apes series, the 5-film collection. No, this isn't the big deluxe book edition, but it's still neat to have because it was cheap and I like the Planet of the Apes movies, even though these covers are kind of generic. The original, here's Beneath, Part 2. Here's Escape, Part 3. This is the one where they fly back to modern-day Los Angeles. Conquest, which is continuation from Part 3. The son, who ends up starting the whole ape race. And finally, Battle for the Planet of the Apes. This is a nice collection to have, even though it doesn't have the nice book, but it's the same discs, it's just without all the swag. There, of course, you can see all the different ape characters in the back there. And, of course, Rise of the Planet of the Apes, the most recent one, which was actually really, really good. A step up from what Tim Burton was trying to do. Originally, this was supposed to be a sequel to the Tim Burton version, because the Tim Burton version was a hit, and Fox was looking to make a sequel. But this, it's a good thing they scrapped that and just relaunched it. Platoon, Oliver Stone flick about the Vietnam War. This was his first Vietnam movie. Pocahontas and Pocahontas 2, the 2-disc special edition. The Poseidon Adventure, nice movie from the 70s, disaster flick. The Princess Bride, this was the 20th anniversary edition, I believe. They've come out with a 25th anniversary edition. Public Enemies, starring Johnny Depp, shot here in Indiana. Pulp Fiction, this is the Tarantino remastered edition. Raging Bull, Robert De Niro. Looking forward to see that movie that he's doing with Sylvester Stallone. Finally, Raging Bull meets Rocky Balboa. Rango, with Johnny Depp. Ratatouille from Pixar. Race to Witch Mountain, which is not that great of a movie. Has Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson in it. It's supposed to be a continuation to the Witch Mountain series that Disney did back in the 60s and 70s. Real Steel, which I really enjoyed. Thought it was way better than Transformers. Red, Red Dawn, Patrick Swayze, and this is the movie you want to watch. Don't watch that stupid Chris Hemsworth remake. Remember the Titans? Featuring Denzel, Jerry Bruckheimer production. The Road, really good movie, really good post-apocalyptic movie with Viggo Mortensen, Robert Duvall, and Charlize Theron. Robin Hood, the 40th anniversary edition. Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Unlike some Robin Hoods, I can speak with an English accent. Yeah, you know the joke where I'm getting that from, because Kevin Costner cannot do an English accent. And so Carrie Elways made fun of him in Robin Hood Men in Tights. Robinson Crusoe on Mars from the Criterion Collection. Some great 60s cheese. Actually has a Adam West, pre-Batman Adam West in this. Rocky IV and Rocky V. Not going to spend too much time on those because those are the least liked. I'll move up to my chair. Next up is Rudy. Shot in South Bend about Rudy from Notre Dame. Safe House, the Steelbook edition, Best Buy exclusive. Includes both the Blu-ray and the DVD. The Sandlot, the 20th anniversary edition, of course has an entirely different back and front. Saturday Night Fever, the 30th anniversary collector's edition, which was originally released on HD DVD, because this should say the 32nd anniversary edition. Because I'm trying to read, yeah, 2009 is when the Blu-ray came out. Scarface, the limited edition steelbook. Say hello to my little friend. Schindler's List, the 20th anniversary limited edition. Completely restored by Steven Spielberg himself. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. Fun movie. Sherlock Holmes steelbook, along with Sherlock Holmes: A Game of Shadows steelbook. Shorts, cheesy kids movie from Robert Rodriguez. Yeah, see how much I like that? Throw it on the ground. Shutter Island, Martin Scorsese flick from the Movies You Buy. See, actual press disc. Sling Blade, Billy Bob Thornton. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, the Diamond Edition Blu-ray, long out of print. Solaris from the Criterion Collection, the movie that inspired the George Clooney movie. Spaceballs, the 25th anniversary edition. The Amazing Spider-Man. The Spiderwick Chronicles. Stagecoach from the Criterion Collection. The movie that made John Wayne a star. Stand By Me, the 25th anniversary edition. Missing the slipcover, but oh well. Great movie. Now, here is what I have of Star Trek on Blue. Star Trek the Motion Picture. Paramount, when they first did this, they only put out the good movies on Blu-ray, which was 2, 4, 6, and First Contact. Then they decided to put the rest of them out because, well, here's Wrath of Khan, which was one of them that they released separately. And here's one that they didn't until now, The Search for Spock, which was Star Trek 3. And Star Trek 3 is not that bad. It just gets a little clunky in the dialogue. Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home, which is a good one. Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country. Star Trek First Contact. J.J. Abrams' Star Trek, along with Star Trek Into Darkness. And of course that slipcover comes off, revealing that. And Benedict Cumberbatch was excellent as Khan. Step Brothers, the unrated edition. Sucker Punch, which has both the R-rated and PG-13 cut. Super 8, which was my favorite movie of 2011. Surrogates, decent little sci-fi action flick from Bruce Willis. Now we're down to the last stack here. Sweet Smell of Success from the Criterion Collection. Talladega Nights, The Ballad of Ricky Bobby, unrated and uncut. Taxi Driver, Martin Scorsese. The original Terminator, Arnold Schwarzenegger's classic. The much better transfer version. The earlier one kind of stunk. Terminator Salvation. Which I don't think this is the, I don't remember if this is, no, this is the, yeah, it's the PG-13 cut. I don't remember, I didn't remember getting the director's cut. But Thor, I'm looking forward to the Thor 2, the Dark World. The Thin Red Line from Criterion, directed by Terrence Malick. Has a lot of people in it. Has Adrian Brody, Jim Caviezel, Ben Chaplin, George Clooney, John Cusack, Woody Harrelson, Nick Nolte, and John C. Reilly, and John Travolta. The Adventures of Tintin, which I don't know if they're going to be making the rest of the trilogy, but we'll see what happens. Titanic, a nice 4-disc Blu-ray. Of course, that means 2 Blu-rays, 2 DVDs. Oops, it slipped out of my hands. Top Gun. No, and this is the 2D edition. Sorry, I don't have a 3D TV. So, there. The Town. This has the extended cut and the original theatrical cut as well. Toy Story 3, which is the only Toy Story movie I have on Blu-ray. A lot of people put this movie down. I don't. I lift it up. Traffic from Criterion, directed by Steven Soderbergh. All about drug trafficking. Training Day, Denzel Washington, Ethan Hawke. Transformers, Dark of the Moon, which is the only Transformers movie I have on Blu-ray. Tron Legacy, which was a decent movie. The only problem I had was with digital Jeff Bridges. He looked too cartoony. Troy, the director's cut. True Grit with John Wayne, Glenn Campbell, and Kim Darby. Yeah, the original classic. Along with the 2010 remake with Jeff Bridges, Matt Damon, and Josh Brolin, which was really well directed by the Coen brothers. Twister. Two-Lane Blacktop from the Criterion Collection, starring James Taylor and Dennis Wilson. Uncle Buck, classic John Candy movie of the late 80s. And the first movie to star Macaulay Culkin, I think. Unforgiven, the nice digibook, directed by Clint Eastwood, won Best Picture. Wall-E, two-pack with the Bridge on the River Kwai and the Guns of Navarone. It's in W because war. The Warriors Ultimate Director's Cut. Just a classic, over-the-top 70s movie. Watchmen, the Director's Cut. Yeah, this is the Zack Snyder Director's Cut version of Watchmen. I keep my DVD of that because that is the theatrical version on the DVD. A triple feature, John Wayne, the Cowboys, the Green Berets, and the Searchers. Picked that up really cheap for $10. And of course my stuff's starting to fall over. West Side Story, the 50th anniversary edition. This is a condensed version of that, actually. Let's start putting them up there. Where the Wild Things Are. I really enjoyed this movie back in 2009. Some people didn't because it was marketed as a kid's film and really it was kind of dark and gloomy. Who Framed Roger Rabbit, the 25th anniversary edition. I used to have the Vista series edition and I decided to get rid of it just because of that. Because it had the same features. Willow, the 25th anniversary edition, produced by George Lucas and directed by Ron Howard. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, classic movie. The 75th anniversary edition of The Wizard of Oz. You know, I'd like to have had the 70th anniversary Emerald edition, which had the 3 discs in it, but that's okay. This has a lot more than has some different features about than my 70th anniversary edition has. Wreck-It Ralph. X-Men First Class. Yes Man. Funny Jim Carrey flick. And finally, Young Guns.
So there you have it. There's 268 Blu-ray titles. Now that's not even counting the DVDs. So there's a lot more DVDs. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So from me to you, see you later.